Hello, good people, and welcome to the Culture Room in association with the Culture 360 podcast, Culture from Every Angle. Well, a week's a long time in football, isn't it? We've seen Arsenal win the Premier League. We've seen Arsenal beaten on penalties in the Champions League final by PSG. Xabi Alonso appointed as Chelsea manager, and now Arnie Slot sacked or removed from his position at Liverpool Football Club. I started to think about the very first podcast we did back in July 25 in the UK with Chris McLaughlin, who is a long-term friend, school colleague, and journalist that writes about the club. And we really wanted to drill down into what the secret sauce for Liverpool was and why it was such a special club in terms of a lot of the trophies and accolades they've won in the 70s and 80s, more recently under Klopp. And then with Arnie Slot's departure, you started to think, well, is it really possible for somebody to come into an organization and inherit a culture? Do you come in and actually try to put your own stamp on it and create your own culture? Or do you try to fine tune what was already there? Looking from the outside in, you'd have to say that Slot has picked up Klopp's old team and old culture and won the Premier League off the back of that. Then spent a lot of money in the off-season on transfers and on players. And then a string of bad results and some grumblings and mutiny within the dressing room. And obviously we saw Mohamed Salah's social media posts in and around the culture at the club and not playing heavy metal football, quote. So can you really inherit a culture? Can you put your own stamp on it? Or do you fine tune what's already there? What I'd really like you to do is to go and have a listen to the very first podcast we did with Chris, which is up in the bio. If you prefer to have a read, please head to the 360 blog and have a look at the blog article that we've put on there. Start to think about the coming weeks and months. What do Liverpool do? Obviously, they had a look at Xabi Alonso, who's now signed for Chelsea, Steven Gerrard, a legend of the club who knows the people and the club and the city. Do they have a custodian like Steven come in around the culture and leadership in the place? He's obviously now got some football management experience with Aston Villa and Rangers. Or do they move for a more tried and tested manager such as Iriola at Bournemouth, who is more about X's and O's and what goes on the pitch in terms of tactics and having done it in the Premier League? All good food for thought. Hey everyone, thank you for listening and stay safe.